Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today I went and saw Captain Marvel again. Me and a couple of friends went along and it actually got better on a second viewing, I will admit, but it's still a normal MCU origin movie, which they come and go, they're alright. The biggest issue though, obviously there is a couple of questions I need answering. Obviously, when I first saw Captain Marvel, I was a bit like, oh god, here we go, going into it, obviously with all that pre-disaster hype, basically. But going through this, I had a lot of questions coming out of the second screening today. So what we're going to be looking at, a couple of questions. And, okay, I always seem to get those dingings when I have a video going. So, number one, where is Jean-Rog? So the character that Jude Law was playing, he actually played the bad guy called Jean-Rog. Again, it wasn't really a surprise because out of everyone, there wasn't really anyone named to be a bad guy, and the twist isn't exactly a good twist either. So going up and seeing obviously he was the big bad of the film, my question is, where has he been since 1995? Obviously Captain Marvel's set in 95, and the question of where Jean-Rog's whereabouts is a mystery. He pledged allegiance to Ronan the Accuser as well, and obviously he never appeared in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 or 2, and since Captain Marvel is set in 95, there's been nothing of him in any of the MCU worlds. So, obviously, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, she did spare him his life, and she put him back on his ship and kicked him out. So it'll be interesting to see if that is ever coming up again. Maybe a sequel to Captain Marvel, you never know. Obviously there's nothing as well. All we got at the end of Captain Marvel, so here's question number 2 now, is that Captain Marvel went off to help the Skrulls find a new place to live. But since then, what has she been doing since 1995? Again, there's so many things regarding this. She came to, she set out to find a new home for the Skrulls, and she did promise to kick more Kree ass, and to actually go against them, and obviously take the fight to them. Again, big on words, big challenges, but nothing's come of it, 25 years and nothing. It's a bit weird, But obviously she's asked, in the only thing we do have with her in Endgame, she pops up and says, where's Fury? It's like, okay. This kind of rolls into the next question of, why didn't Fury use the pager beforehand? Obviously, he kind of knew what was going on, and obviously with Ultron and a few other things, and, Fury used the pager at the very end of Infinity War, and nothing happened, it's like, he's waited so long to use it, and he thinks, okay, the world's going to shit, and I finally need to use the pager. Well, why didn't he use it in, because he would have known what's going on when War Machine and is waiting, and obviously Captain Marvel and all them turn up, he would have known exactly what's happening. So it's a little bit of a thing kicked out there, say, why didn't Fury use the page? And this is actually a niggling plot hole, and everyone is talking about it, so it'd be interesting to see how that goes from there. Another one we have is Nick Fury's eye. So number 5, this is question number 5. Again, I'm pretty sure that Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, they did take a few liberties with Captain Marvel. Obviously, they changed a lot of stuff, which a lot of fans are not happy with. But overall, some of them were good, some of them were bad. Changing the original Marvel from a man to a woman is a bit shit, and saying that obviously she was a scientist, it's like, come on. Captain Marvel, I should say, they should have used him, and then obviously you see not even Carol, you should have saw Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel first, not Carol Danvers. But going to Nick Fury's eye. In Winter Soldier, he actually tells Steve Rogers the last time he trusted someone, he lost an eye. And obviously, Goose, the cat, is not someone. And he is a he is a Flurkin. He is a space alien, and he never trusted him. And he's the one who made him lose an eye, which is a little bit, come on, try and get something there, But again, the MCU, they have been rewriting comic book history for a couple of years now, so it's a bit of a piss take, really. But again, even in the Winter Soldier, they also showed a photograph of Nick Fury with both his eyes in the post-Captain Marvel world. And, he was bald in the photo, and obviously this was way before. Well, actually, it was way after 1995 as well. But there's just so many questions going in. So another one I had, again, I was quite surprised to see him in the film, and, well, not really in the film. He only had, 4 scenes, and that was Ronan the Accuser. I was so excited to hear that he was going to be back in this film. I was like, yes, because obviously he was awesome in Guardians of the Galaxy, but there was nothing there. It's just, he just showed up, said, yeah, we're going to do this, I will take over, I will kill people, and that was it. So it's like, well, again, between 1995 and 2014, so 19 years, what has he been doing, Was he meant to have a bigger part in this film? Again, because obviously he was introduced in Guardians as the big bad. It's like, right, okay, Will his role be eventually expanded in future films? This is what we need to know, people. This is what we need to know. Another thing as well is, in Iron Man 2, Nick Fury states that he knew Howard Stark better than Tony. Which, when you look at this film, it kind of puts you like, well, really, do you? Because obviously, in Captain Marvel, Nick Fury is just a desk jockey. He's not exactly high up, and he's just a bit of he's just a soldier, basically, for S.H.I.E.L.D. So, it'd be interesting to see how this happened. Obviously, Howard Stark and Maria Stark, they were executed by the Winter Soldier in 1991, as that is what is shown in Civil War. So, it'll be interesting to see who actually made the right call and who is lying. Because again, Civil War is just, well, it showed the Winter Soldier killing him in 91, off the road, then shooting him. Well, he strangled Mrs. Stark in the car, and obviously Stark had his neck broken as well. So, it'd be interesting to see how this has happened, and why they took so many liberties in changing MCU history. Again, it could be going towards that we have seen that Kevin Feige actually wants to retcon the first 10 years of the MCU, so he got another 10 years to free before he does another retcon, which wouldn't surprise me, and, to our shoe is actually a good way, because if you think about it, the first 10 years could be classed as the golden age of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The next 10 years could be the Silver Age. It could be going on for ages. One of the other twist in Captain Marvel, so spoiler alert if anyone hasn't seen it, is the Skrulls. So, they use the Skrulls as the good guys, basically, in this film. And, to be honest with you, it pissed me off so much. Because, well, obviously, they were... all you gotta look at is just look at the critically acclaimed Secret Invasion storyline. That was just one of the best Avengers stories ever told. Obviously, the Skrulls against the Avengers. They've been on Earth for years, and obviously shapeshifters. And I would love to see them in a future Avengers film. For all we know, though, with what Thanos is doing now, we need to see how Endgame finishes first. But we need to see what's going to happen. Because obviously, if, say, they destroy the gauntlet, what's going to happen? Are the Skrulls really going to turn into bad guys down the past and, become the Secret Invasion? Because I would absolutely love that. 5, 6, maybe 10 years again. Now 10 years to stories going up to, I don't know, Avengers 7 or Avengers 8. And all of a sudden, it's the Avengers Secret Invasion over 2 or 3 films. That would be incredible. I'd love that. And I think what they should really do, if they are going to do that, try and do what the Matrix done and release the 2 films or 3 films in 1 year, easily, they could easily make $6 billion just off those 3 films alone. Because imagine that. Imagine having 3 Avenger films in 1 year. Just imagine how epic that year would be. It would be absolutely brilliant. But I would like to see the Skrulls actually become bad guys instead of just being a race of refugees. So, there was that. And last but not least, was my favourite part of the movie, was Stan Lee's cameo. I thought this cameo was Stan Lee's, it was just his greatest ever. And it was kind of sad to see, it was nice to see him. But it's also sad because I just remember he's not here anymore. And because obviously Stan Lee, man, he's the one who, birthed this entire thing. Back in the early 60s. Well, late 50s, I believe, was his first Marvel writing gig. But then obviously he was told to come up with a few other things. But obviously having Stan Lee on the train reading Kevin Smith's Mallrats script and just practicing, saying, true, trust that true believer. I was just there like, yeah. Even though the second time I knew it was coming, and I was just there like, yeah, this is brilliant. Stan's the man, And so one of the things is as well, obviously Stan Lee is playing himself. So if Stan Lee exists in the MCU as himself, surely Marvel Comics should exist. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes forward. Because obviously, in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Stan is with the Watchers, and he's telling them what he's done and everything else. So it'd be interesting to see how this is going to play out, because we know he's got at least 1 more or 2 more cameos. I believe he is in Avengers, but I believe he's also been told that he's actually in Spider-Man, so it may be 2. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell for future updates, and we'll see you soon.